So with the day-night cycle, the sun comes up, it'll go all the way around till it reaches the other end, and then it sets. As that sets, the moon comes up. And then that'll carry on down until that also sets. And then the sun comes back up again. And then that will just carry on forever. One of the issues I had was when the sun and the moon are in that transition between setting and coming up. Everything was actually in darkness. So as the sun comes up, everything's back up again. Sun sets. You have that moment of everything's pitch black. And then the moon comes up and everything goes back again. But I fixed that using a skylight. So with the skylight in place, it doesn't matter how dark things get or how dark the atmosphere on the outside gets, the scene itself will still be visible. So when the place is supposed to be pure black, you can still see. And then based on whether it's nighttime or daytime, nighttime you've got this cool blue sort of effect. So as it gets dark, and then as the sun comes up, everything turns back to kind of like a normal white. For the light itself, I put everything on a blueprint. So the idea was if I create another level, I can just drag the blueprint in and then it will just carry on with the same lighting effect. The light is made up of a sun and a moon. They are sitting there at parallel with each other, so as one rotates, the other one rotates with it. That is not true to what actually happens in life, but it provides the lighting I need, and it's a video game. It gives you a nice indication. I included a post-process remove auto exposure. In Unreal Engine, they've got this thing where if you go inside a building or outside a building, the light has this effect, almost like your eyes are adjusting to it. I don't want that. I just want everything to be plain, simple. So that's why I've got this little extra bit in there. The skylight provides lighting all around, no matter what's happening. So I started with the sky atmosphere to give you the blue background. You can change its color, but without it, you just get absolutely nothing. I don't think the directional light, the sun and the moon worked either without the sky atmosphere. So they all require each other. And then the exponential height fog, you can see it gives you this harsh horizon, which you can see there as well. It cuts off the ground, and I didn't care for it to begin with, but as you can see, the floor is not high enough, and I felt like I could never really raise the floor high enough to compensate for it. So including that ensured that it all kind of looked natural still. You can move the horizon down, but I can never move it down enough. So having that fog in place just gives you that extra buffer to play with, and it looked fine to me. Okay, so when creating the map, I wanted to create an island. I didn't entirely know how to go about doing it or what to do, so I just had a bit of fun with it. Each tile I've got created is its own blueprint. So you've got the hexagon base along with a topper, and I was thinking I could just interchange the toppers based on what's on that square, what's on that tile. It was a nice and quick way to make a map. Maybe not so quick, but it was a nice way of making the map because I was able to make changes quickly. So I was able to select a few at a time. And change them all at the same time. and that allowed me to create the map fairly quickly. I say fairly quickly. It allowed me to change the map without too much hassle. So I was able to then use this as like a blueprint idea, something to follow. So this map was made entirely out of individual blueprints. I always saw it as like they're all got their own little brains, but I thought that might be a bit too computer demanding. So I was trying to come up with a different way of doing it, which brings me onto this side. It's exactly the same, but this one's just the one blueprint, and it's filled with instance static meshes. So yeah, so it's just made up of a hexagon base and a hexagon top, which is just these little guys. Just a hexagon base and a hexagon top, which I made in Unreal Engine itself. I was thinking I could probably just put the two together and create a new static mesh from that. It might save me issues later on down the line. So maybe later on I can include the option of should it need a topper or not. I was curious with the stat side of things. So looking at the draws and the frames per second, it's sitting at about 120, just under it. And the draws at 244, 43. That's with nothing in the scene. With my giant map full of individual BPs, the draw call jumps to 5,110 or 5,114. So looking at the static mesh blueprint instead, so it's just the one blueprint with lots of instance static meshes. The frame per second is still sitting almost at 120, and the draws has gone to 254, so it's barely moved. So in terms of trying to keep things optimized and computer friendly, I think this is the way to go. The stats take a massive dive when I click on it because it's updating every frame while it's being held onto. An issue I had was I didn't know at the time that instance static meshes share the same color. So I know they shared the same mesh because that's just the nature of the instance static mesh. It's you've got a static mesh and you're basically creating a copy and saying copy the main thing across the board, which is fine. I didn't realize at the time was that the color for each one was also shared with all of them, because you're able to assign it up and down. You can give them their own up and down without any issues. So I thought the color would be the same, but no. So color-wise, you have to go through a specific. Color-wise, you need the per instance custom data, and in this case, I've made it so you've got red, green, and blue. And so I was able to copy the same color as what I'd already done. This also means that I only have to have one material, and then within my blueprint itself, I've got the individual colors for red, green, and blue. So you've got 0, 1, and 2. There we go. So then on the side, and instances, number of custom data floats, I just turned that to 3. That was it. The color itself is derived from a map I created from the base color. Each color tile has its own title, and then the color. So you've got red, green, and blue there. Beach dry, water dry. These need to swap places. But yeah, so that's something else I did. Well, I was quite happy about is when you hover over a tile, it will lift up. And I thought that was kind of like a cool little effect. So as you hover over one tile, it will lift. As you take it away, it will fall back down again. It just provides that haptic feedback for the user, which I thought was quite cool. if I wanted to, I could make it so that the land is randomized. I thought it would be better off. It would be a better for like flat maps to give it like a texture sort of thing going on. So you could quickly randomize the map as well. You could also give it different colors. So you could almost randomize almost like an ocean map if you so needed, maybe for like battle. Or you can make it go darker still and turn it into a space map maybe. You can make it harsher, make it the environment a bit more harsher. I mean, yeah, possibilities are there for if so needed. If I was to implement this sort of thing, I'll need to find the way to create a seed and stop it from changing, because every time you move it, it will completely change everything. Something else I quickly just wanted to mention was I do have the ability to change the grid to whatever size I want. It will mess up the current map because I've set it to create that map. So if it doesn't have the correct columns and rows, it won't create it. So keeping with the theme of randomizing the map, I could adjust how big the map is.